Hello everyone, good day. Welcome to attend Hikvision HCSE VMS training program. Today we will introduce time and attendance system operation with HikCentral Professional version 2.5. By the time you finish, you will master how to configure shift and schedule, and how does employees self-service work, and how to generate and export reports on HikCentral Professional. This course is composed of these parts: attendance rule, shift settings, including break, timetable, shift, and shift schedule, and employee self-service and attendance report. Here is a video showing us how does time and attendance management work with HikCentral Professional.
To help manage employees in an ever-growing modern company, a powerful and flexible time attendance system is quite critical. HikCentral Professional can exactly help you here. In the office scenario, with the time attendance application of HikCentral Professional, Coco, the HR manager, can easily assign shift schedules for staffs of different roles. When the engineer John arrives at the office, he can check in and open the door at the same time with his badge or fingerprint. After a busy working day, it is time to leave. John can easily check out via face recognition. By the end of the month, when Coco is going to check the attendance reports and make the monthly payroll, she can easily get overview and detailed information with various predefined report templates. And she can even customize a report by herself. Coco also needs to handle the abnormal attendance status applications from employees who forget to check out. After confirming the situation, she can correct the abnormal attendance status via HikCentral Professional with ease. The corrected data will be updated and transmitted to third-party systems in real time to realize integrated management. Besides the office scenario, the flexible attendance solution of HikCentral Professional also perfectly satisfy the needs of industrial parks, factories, and more. HikCentral Professional, versatile security in one platform.
In order to configure and then apply time and attendance, we need to follow the steps in this wizard. Start with resource management, which is the same as we introduced in the access control course, as we can deploy access control device for time and attendance management directly. Then, manage the employees in the company in-person module. In attendance module, we should firstly cite attendance rule. It determines basic parameters related with attendance calculation, including weekend sightings, overtime calculation, and authentication methods, and so on. The attendance rule could be different for department and attendance group. The next step is shift settings, including timetable, which decides the check-in and check-out time, and shift, which defines the working dates. Then assign shifts to persons. To let employees apply for leave, attendance correction, and overtime. Admin users need to configure approval flow from them in advance. HR can finally generate and export attendance reports on the platform. Like shown in the wizard, we need to firstly add access control device and persons on the platform. But we already talked about them in access control course. If you need to have a review of these parts, please watch access control course in the HCSE VMS certification. So let us start with attendance rule. This attendance rule indicates a set of parameters about time and attendance, including weekend sightings, attendance calculation, overtime parameters, and authentication mode selection of attendance check, and etc. Different countries or regions adopt a different weekend convention. HikCentral Professional provides weekends definition function. You can select one or more days of week as the weekends according to actual situation. And then for attendance calculation, you can require the attendance results to be calculated by the first check-in or last check-out, or the period between each check-in and each check-out. And you also can enable this time attendance status on device and date change time. And then you can modify the absence sightings and attendance during holidays and leave sightings. You can select to mark the leave as normal or leave or absent. Then, the overtime is the amount of time a person works beyond the scheduled work hours. You can configure parameters including work hour rate, overtime level, and attendance status for overtime, for work days, weekends, and holidays. Firstly, enable calculate overtime on workday or weekend. For calculation mode, by total work hours means overtime is calculated according to the extra work hours that exceed the required work hours. For example, the required work hours is 8 hours, and the extra work hours besides the 8 hours will be calculated into overtime duration. And by 10 points means overtime duration is calculated according to the extra work hours earlier than start work time or later than end work time in one day. For example, the required check-in time is 9 o'clock and the required check-out time is 17 o'clock. The platform allows employees to check in not earlier than 6 o'clock and check out no later than 20 o'clock. If an employee checks in between 6 to 9 o'clock and checks out between 17 and 20 o'clock, extra work hours except duration between 9 o'clock and 17 o'clock will be calculated into the overtime duration. For overtime duration calculation mode, if you select fixed, overtime duration is fixed regardless of the actual overtime, and you need to cite a fixed duration here. And if you select actual, system will count actual duration of the overtime. You need to cite a minimum threshold for a valid overtime. Then you need to configure overtime level settings. Select the total overtime duration range. For example, from 0 to 2 hours. The overtime mode level is OT1, and from 2 to 3 hours, the overtime mode is OT2. And from 3 hours to 24 hours, the overtime mode is OT3. And you can copy from Sunday to all other days and save. So, the total work hours will be calculated according to the work hour rate of each overtime level. You also can calculate the overtime on weekends or on holidays. Then finally, you can customize authentication mode valid for time attendance check-in and check-out. Click Save. And you can configure a department with a department rule which has higher priority than the global rule used for the whole company or institution. You can also configure an attendance group with a group attendance rule which has higher priority than the department rule. Okay, now let us see how to add attendance group. For situations where users need to cite exclusive attendance rules for specified employees, users can add employees to an attendance group configured with attendance rules different from and appropriate to that of a department.